Bill, what do we know about what potentially could be announced?
Well, we expect some kind of an agreement to come out on Wednesday at the start of APEC. It would basically involve China cracking down more on chemical companies, domestic chemical companies that produce fentanyl or precursor drugs that later on get turned into fentanyl and exported to the United States, either directly or via Mexico. This has been a major political issue in the United States. You've heard Republican nominees for president talking about it on the campaign trail and in the debates. It's something that Democrats have been deeply concerned about. We heard earlier on Bloomberg, we heard the mayor of San Francisco, who's hosting the APEC summit, saying that this, for her, was one of her top priorities. Of course, San Francisco has been hit by the fentanyl crisis as much or more than any other U.S. city. In return for this, the U.S. would presumably or apparently lift sanctions on China's Police Forensics Institute. That's a body that has in the past been accused of some human rights abuses. I think the big picture here is that it shows there are areas where the U.S. and China can agree. Even a month ago, we weren't sure if Xi Jinping was going to go to San Francisco. This shows that there's some progress being made. They're not going to solve things like their disputes over Taiwan or maybe some of the major trade issues. All of that is much less likely. But it does show that a working relationship is, in fact, working at this point.
And I mean, in terms of, nothing's really set in stone at this point, but talk about how big of a breakthrough this could be for Biden. Would this be considered a big win, just given the political implications, as you mentioned here? And what are the chances that Beijing might follow through on this?
Yeah, those are two really important questions. I think it will be seen as a big win by the White House. As I mentioned, it's something that's been already a part of the 2024 campaign, and it's something I think they will tout a lot in the coming weeks and in the months ahead. In terms of enforcement, that's going to be the big question, because there was an agreement reached by former President or then President Donald Trump in 2018 with China to do some of these similar things, to crack down on exports of fentanyl and precursor chemicals. That eventually fell apart, particularly after relations got tense during the COVID crisis and afterwards. So I think as long as the relationship is on a general upswing, you're likely to see China sticking with this. If things turn negative, we had the spy balloon incident earlier this year. You could always have tensions in the South China Sea or over Taiwan. Then you have to start to see whether this kind of an agreement stays in force. But it's a good early step for, I think, both leaders heading into APEC.